Hey everyone, how are you doing? I'm back. I have an update and a PSA and something fun that I thought we could talk about. This video is intended to be a marker of a fairly major timeline shift that has occurred for planet Earth, and this video is titled The Yoga of Planetary Liberation. And I wanted to share this video again, specifically with this channel that has a lot of followers from the Psi lineage, because I wanted to talk about the yoga that you have been participating in, that we've all been participating in. I think we are all familiar with different types of yogic processes that can be pursued, can be engaged for various reasons to shift our consciousness, to become powerful creators, to engage in manifestation processes with the universe. And my favorite yogic process that we have all been participating in by actively embodying Christ consciousness, by working to transmute old paradigm beliefs, old paradigm energies, negative ways in which we have perceived ourselves and perceived the world around us, by going through this process, which this lineage is all about. This lineage has been about the embodiment of Christ consciousness. That's what all the teachings, all the channels, all of the processes really are intended to support, right? They're intended to help us just embody a state of universal harmony and unconditional love that brings us into alignment with source consciousness, which then allows us to have a really different experience of reality. So, with all of the spiritual work that's been going on this planet, that is one big yogic process related to planetary liberation. And what do I mean by planetary liberation? I mean bringing this planet out of the isolation it has been in, bringing this planet into a family, a larger family of beings, bringing this planet into the truth of infinite universal abundance, bringing this planet into a time, into an era, into a new experience of connectivity that we haven't fully experienced yet as beings. And that is a process that requires support, engagement, and education from our galactic family. That has been happening already on this planet in various ways. First contact has been happening in various ways, which I talked about in the last video, where I shared about my experience, my knowing, my understanding, my memory of the Sapta Rishis being ET souls, high level, advanced souls who normally incarnate in other civilizations, who sometimes come to Earth to participate in these sorts of evolutionary milestones and to support the physical engagement with humans during times when humans were so disconnected from source that their ability to engage with other beings in our galaxy and our universe was not quite possible. So, when we have been in these places of being so disconnected from source, forgetting ourselves as source, forgetting ourselves as part of this interconnected web of life and love that is the universe, when we fall into that state on this planet, which we did in a really dark way for a long time, that has required loving intervention, but in ways that humans could handle, in ways that wouldn't be so jarring, so foreign, so alien to humans. So, Sapta Rishis, along with a lot of other interplanetary souls, souls who've had other experiences in other civilizations, other parts of our galaxy, those souls have incarnated throughout history, throughout our dark ages, to support the perpetuation of wisdom, practices, teachings to bring some of those out of hiding at certain moments in certain ways. And so we're now at a point in time where this planet has gone through such incredible preparation, such incredible transformation work, and we've still got some more to do, but the transformation work we all do individually as souls in this human experience, transmuting these negative aspects of our belief systems and our engagement with the universe to a more harmonious, inflow, loving experience of the universe and of ourselves and each other. When we move into that state, we can start to actually meet and interact with and learn from our galactic family in a different way. So first contact has already been happening for this planet as part of this planetary liberation process, bringing this planet out of the darkness and into the light and back into a place of connectivity where this planet can learn from and be part of a much larger galactic web of life. On the Star Family Wisdom channel in the coming months, I'm going to be posting a series of videos called Preparing for First Contact, because we are now on that timeline and that trajectory, and it's important that we just start to use our minds and our hearts to open to what that might be like and what the differences might be like between humans and other beings. What gaps might we still have in our understanding of quantum mechanics, our understanding of space-time geometry, our understanding of planetary management, and how to, in a unified, coordinated way, work together on a new level that we've never experienced on this planet. So there's a level of preparation that we ideally want to, start to engage in, just so that our experience of a more physical open contact with beings that look different than humans, so that experience is as easeful and smooth and helpful for everyone as it can be. And this planetary liberation process, what I'm calling the yoga of planetary liberation, has been happening for thousands of years. It's been one of the most extraordinary efforts that this galaxy has seen, because of where this planet has been and because of the level of consciousness this planet has experienced. Such a low level of consciousness, such a fear-based level of consciousness, and to move from such a fear-based, negative place, such a conflicting, violent, warring place, to a place that is more loving, that is more fully connected, that is more open to the sharing and the generosity of this universe coming through us as beings. To move from that place to this place, which is the trajectory we're now on, and to have gone through the level of transformation on a consciousness level that has been required to allow this to unfold in coming decades, is nothing short of just extraordinary. And I want you to know that you've been part of this, that the work that has happened in the Psi lineage has not just been about Jesus and the time of Jesus and bringing power channels forward to use them in, whatever yogic processes we want to use them in. This work that has been happening on a global scale throughout many communities, including this one, is some of the most massive transformation in a short period of time that could occur. And yes, this has been going on for thousands of years. Jesus was one of the ambassadors of this, right? 2,000 years ago, to move us in a direction that would help humans understand unconditional love and would help us understand universal harmony. Swami came to help pave the way and to help prepare the channels for other souls who would need them, who would be able to help with grid work, who would be able to help with high-level transmutation processes for the collective. All of you have been supporting this. All of you have been participating in the Yoga of Planetary Liberation, which is one of the most profound, important things that we could be helping with as souls. So I guess what I want to maybe wrap up with is an invitation for you to tune in to Bashar in Sedona. A friend and I just attended this event this weekend. Bashar is an ET being who channels through a man named Darryl Anka. This has been going on for about 40 years. And Bashar is part of what is known as the Gray Being Collective, the Zeta Reticuli Collective, but he's more part of the Essassani group of Grays. That's his specific civilization. He is a version of the gray beings that have been hybridized with humans to become more fully sentient in the way that humans are. His race is advanced beyond us by, let's say, about 1,000 years. His race has been in contact with humans for the last 40 years to support teachings, sharing processes and practices and ways in which humans can start to transform their consciousness and understand the mechanics of existence a little better. All as part of this large-scale effort to transform human consciousness, to transmute negativity and darkness to light, to have the chance at this planet meeting other civilizations, other beings from our galaxy, to bring this planet all the way back into the light. So, whatever personal ascension, transcendence, processes, experiences we're focused on for ourselves in this life, whatever that is amazing and awesome and something we should all continue to pursue for our own good and the collective. And I wanted to reinforce that the information that came through Bashar this weekend validates a lot of what I shared in the last video and validates that we are on this trajectory now of liberating this planet into the light. And this is something I've been receiving and processing and feeling and knowing for a while now, that we've had a fairly major fork in the road coming, and we've got really major momentum around one particular fork in the road that will help us move in the direction of open contact. Open contact with other beings is the best thing that could happen to this planet. That is what is going to liberate this planet all the way back into the light. Because there are gaps in our scientific understanding and even in some of our spiritual understandings of how to embody universal harmony and unconditional love in its highest state. And by engaging and interacting with and learning from these other beings, which we can now in various ways, go to bashar.org, for instance, tune into Bashar in Sedona. By engaging with these beings, either in the format we have now, the capacity we have now, telepathically channeling through souls like me, remembering things that could be shared that might be helpful, we are going to reach levels of information sharing, abundance, creativity that we've just begun to tap into. We as a civilization will move beyond this planet. We'll travel the stars. we'll learn more about how to engage space-time geometry, and we will learn about how our consciousness, when we are in that fully aligned source consciousness place, we will learn about how we can become more powerful creator beings. That's the truth of who's out there. You know, a lot of what Swami taught in the lineage was, one, to fast track, you know, some work that needed to happen on the planet. Two, to clean up some karma from the time of Jesus. Three, to support our energy fields moving back into a state of conscious creation. Because most beings out there understand, or it's not even really an understanding at this point, it's just part of them. It is their experience of reality that their consciousness is constantly giving rise to the material around them. One example that Bashar uses that I've liked to think about before is this idea of space travel, and our relatively primitive version of space travel now compared to what other civilizations are capable of, which is really just adjusting their coordinates within space-time to where the ship is no longer here, it is here. So there's not actually like a long distance travel that needs to happen. You're, through consciousness and through your understanding of space-time geometry, able to reposition yourself. This is where we get the idea of teleporting. This is where we get the idea of abhor, you know, objects manifesting in physical reality. Sometimes what's happening is that's an object that already exists in the creation. It's in a slightly different dimension. So through consciousness, like a master like Swami, right, can use his consciousness, and sometimes with the support of spirits, some masters have used this approach in the past, you can just change the location of that object to where it's now here. And so these are things that are more commonplace out there, and that we, at the state of consciousness we've been in as humans, have looked at as miraculous, as these high divine experiences. And they are, because when that happens, someone does need to be in a place of holding universal harmony and unconditional love, and needs to have embodied more of a whole, like, representation of source consciousness. And that is more or less what is out there. So we're just catching up, and so many of you chose to come here and incarnate in bodies and go through hardship, go through forgetting, go through the experience of negativity, of feeling unworthy, of feeling unloved, of taking on all of the negative programming that had lived in human consciousness. And the more of us who were able to do that, come into human bodies, take on that programming and transmute it, heal it, and come back into a state of unconditional love, come back into a state of joy, come back into a state of worthiness. That is a huge service for this planet. That is a huge service that this collective of souls has been engaging and supporting. It is a process that requires the coordination, the efforts, the focus, the intention, the love of thousands, millions of beings, millions of souls. And you're part of that. You're part of the yoga of planetary liberation. So anytime you're hearing folks talk about or use phrases like, you know, the more chaotic things get on Earth, or as we descend, you know, that sort of stuff. No, like, there's illusions of negativity, right? And then we're seeing a more physical expression of that. We're seeing a more visible expression of some of that, which is good, because that means it's coming out of the shadows. That means it's becoming conscious so that we can make choices. about how we move forward. So that is not an indication that the planet is descending into more darkness. That is not an indication that the planet is descending into chaos. That is not an indication that that needs to continue. It is your choice. It is our choice. So we all need to be really mindful, really focused about how we use our consciousness, about what beliefs we actually have about how things are, how they will continue to evolve, and what's possible. So those three things, we need to focus on that now. We need to be highly mindful of how we are holding and anchoring a timeline of unconditional love for it all, but also choosing the path forward that is more loving and positive, and taking action, taking physical action with our voices, with our choices, with our votes, to move this planet and to anchor the timeline, to move this planet into that timeline of planetary liberation, because we are so close, you guys. We are so close. We are so close. So I also want to share that with all of that like in mind and that context, this is going to start in like the next 5 to 10 years. And we've been getting confirmation from the galactic councils and beings about that. I've been getting confirmation about that since the beginning of this year. The Mayan calendar even indicates this window being our window of preparation, of welcoming that, of inviting that into our experience of reality. So this is also about looking at what we're inviting into our experience of reality. Do you have fear around the idea of ET beings showing up? Do you have fear around things on this planet changing? Are there parts of you that are still stuck in conflict? Are there parts of you that are still stuck in lack? Are there parts of you that are still stuck in doubt and worry and unworthiness? Those are the parts we need to focus on, addressing, loving, changing, and perceiving differently, right? Because we have these other parts too. We have all of the worthiness. We have all of the ability to just say no to conflict and step away from it. We have all of the ability to rise to higher expressions of our soul and of source through us. And so we all need to take those steps and be focused on that, and really, really look at, what part of me is not aligned with a future of open contact? What part of me is not aligned with a future of this planet having infinite abundance? What part of me is not aligned with the end of wars and conflict, right? Because all that's living in us as humans in this life. So everything from our past in this world, when we come into human form, we've got some of that programmed in us. So it's important that we're looking at all of that right now, the next few years. This is our window. This is our time. Knowing that this is the trajectory we're on. This is the trajectory that the galactic civilizations are supporting. And that anything that is pulling us into fear, it's unreal. It doesn't have to pull us into fear. We can examine why we're having a fearful response. We can examine where we might be able to release and let go a little more, where we might be able to trust in this potential future, this future that is our new timeline. And we can also lean into getting creative and getting curious and getting excited about what might change. Because change can also feel a little scary. Change can also feel hard. Change can also really challenge us and challenge all of the belief systems that are living within us. So keeping this in mind, I want to invite you to check out Bashar in Sedona and receive his transmission. It's really beautiful. It's really, I think, helpful at this time. And for souls who've been part of this lineage doing the work, this is what it's all about. It's partially about liberating our own souls, but it's also about liberating this planet. And so you have been part of the Yoga of Planetary Liberation, which I think is one of the most profound, loving acts of service that a soul could possibly partake in. And I want to thank you. And I love you. And I'm so excited about our future and what's to come. And I hope you get excited too, because it's time to get excited. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Tune into Star Family Wisdom so you can get the Preparing for Contact videos when those start coming out. Okay, bye for now.